It's your boy Jay Shane, the Keto Road, coming at you with another video. Today, part 1 of 3 on digestion. Guys, we're going to be trying to give you a much broader understanding of how important digestion is for you, not only with your weight loss, but your hormones, any kind of neurological dysfunction such as anxiety, depression, and how greatly the gut and how it digests and absorbs nutrients can affect that. So part 1 is today we're going to be talking about the mouth, the esophagus, and the stomach. Part 2 is all things intestinal tract, both small and large. And then the third video is going to be on the gut microbiome. That one's going to be the power puncher. That's going to be the goal getter. But we have to start at the top. So a lot of people, when you ask them, hey, where does digestion start? They point right here, the stomach. Oh, my stomach, right? But that's not true. You have a mouth and esophagus to go through. And also your brain seeing the food. So that's really where it starts. So understanding all of these steps can give us a better understanding of what we need to do, why we need to do it, and what can happen if we don't do. What are the consequences of not following these procedures? So today we're going to focus on the mouth, the esophagus, and the stomach. And before I even get started, really, we need to talk about the brain, right? That is the first step of digestion, the brain. How do I know? Say you smell something, it smells really good. Wow, your mouth starts salivating. We start getting all of these intriguing thoughts towards the food. We want to eat it, we want to devour it. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, you just want it. So basically what's happening is your body is sending signals that make you want that food. It knows energy is coming. When that happens, your body will start a lot of processes. It starts producing saliva through your salivary glands. Okay, it's going to start producing gastric juices in your stomach. So you think about the food, you want the food, your body starts preparing for the food. Now, let's take this step by step, okay? So you eat the food, you're chewing on it, right? Your body's going to be producing saliva. Saliva has enzymes in it that help, one, lubricate the food so it goes down your esophagus. We'll get into more on that in a second. And 2, it has an enzyme that helps break down carbohydrates. So if you are eating carbs from veggies or squashes or anything like that, the enzymes in the saliva are going to help start the breakdown process of those vegetables, okay? So that's first and foremost. And then secondly, like we talked about, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to lubricate and make it easy to swallow. You should not have to drink something to swallow your food. If you chew it enough and allow your saliva glands to do their job, they will allow it to get down the esophagus. You also have a lot of smooth muscle right here in this green part, the esophagus. And that's going to allow you to get that food down to your stomach. So understand, let's have a little bit of like a play-by-play here. So you're looking at your phone, you're distracted, and you're just kind of eating, right? So when that's happening, we're distracted, we're eating, and the saliva is not really being produced as well as it should be. Okay, so you're not getting that good lubrication. Your food's dry. You're also just chewing just to chew. You're not focusing on your food and enjoying it. So you have to take swigs of water, right? So you're taking swigs of water. The saliva's not breaking down the carbohydrates because it's not producing enough because you're not even neurologically focused on the meal, right? So right there, you have a lot of bad issues. Now it's going to get harder for stuff to get down your throat. You could choke, all kinds of things. And now you're having to drink a lot of liquids to get the food down into the stomach, right? No bueno. Already no bueno. No bueno. So let's get down to the stomach. So when you start thinking, if we go back to the brain, when you start thinking about food, you start producing what we said earlier, gastric juices. Hydrochloric acid and other things in your stomach make your stomach acid extremely acidic. If I were to throw up right now, pure stomach acid onto the floor, I could leave for an hour or so, come back, and it would start to burn a hole in the ground. Stomach acid is extremely acidic. The fact that your stomach can even hold something so potent is absolutely remarkable. But it's extremely, extremely acidic, and it's supposed to be, okay? So basically, the food comes down. We're just going to draw this out. The food comes down into here, and through the sphincter, and into the stomach, okay? Now, you have all this stomach acid, right? And it's digesting the food. Now, here's what can happen. This is where things can go south, okay? So you're not focused on the food, so you're not producing enough gastric juices in your glands and your cells and glands in the stomach, right? And so when the food gets down there, it's not getting properly broken down. In fact, let's make matters worse. You're not focused, so you're not producing enough saliva, so you're having to take swigs of liquid into your mouth to get the food down, right? And so now you're diluting the stomach acid even more. So now you have not enough stomach acid, and the stomach acid you do have, you're diluting. So what happens? The food just sits here. It just sits here and ferments. Understand that your food has to get broken down into what's called chyme. Chyme, C-H-Y-M-E. Chyme. So it has to be broken down into chyme and get to a certain acidic level to get passed through the sphincter into the duodenum, into the small intestine, to start the process of it having nutrients extracted in the small intestines, okay? So when that doesn't happen and it sits there and your body's waiting for it to get broken down properly, what happens is the carbohydrates start to ferment and the fats start to go rancid. And so now you start pushing stomach acid up into the esophagus, and that's what we call heartburn. Right? So heartburn is not a side effect of too much stomach acid. It's a side effect of too little stomach acid. You're literally not eating enough, or you don't have enough for your body when you do eat. And so that's a huge problem. And so we'll get into more what happens in the second video in the small intestine. But what you need to realize is heartburn and things like that can be very easily mitigated by doing two things, okay? Three things, really. So one, not being distracted. Not being distracted. Not drinking a lot while eating. So not being distracted and not drinking a lot while eating. And the third one is, to help at first, a little ACV. A little apple cider vinegar right before your meal is a great way to help this process. But understand that this one should be temporary. ACV should be temporary. Your body has all the ability to produce enough stomach acid on its own. These two are the big ones. When I sit down to eat, focus on my meal. Enjoy my meal, right? Don't drink a lot of water, especially carbonated. Don't give your stomach any reason to be diluted. When I eat, I literally make it a mission to not have to drink anything while I'm intaking the food. I chew it enough. I focus on it. I smell it. I let my mouth start to salivate. I really look for these signals so that I know that I'm getting proper digestion. I actually get to enjoy the taste of my food and enjoy my meal. So put the phone down, turn the TV off, shut the laptop, and actually focus on your food and enjoy it. And don't chug too much water or any other kind of drink or beverage while you're eating. And then if you need to get a little kickstart, a little ACV will help. That's it for this, guys. I hope this was good and informational. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I will see you for number 2.